Air can ruin gemstones. Not fire, not impact, not theft. Humid air. Some translucent stones slowly turn cloudy while sitting untouched. Sharp surfaces lose their glow. Clear bodies become hazy. Valuable pieces start looking older without a single crack. One gemstone on this list survived millions of years, then faded in an ordinary room. Another can react faster than many collectors expect. And the number one stone is loved worldwide, yet stored the wrong way by countless owners. This countdown reveals 10 translucent gemstones losing clarity from humid air, and why beauty can disappear long before damage looks obvious. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th. Amber. Age is the reason this gemstone fools people. Amber looks like something time has already tested and approved. It formed from ancient tree resin, hardened across immense spans of history, survived burial underground, shifting climates, geological pressure, and the disappearance of entire forests. By the time it reaches a collector, it already carries a story older than civilization itself. That history creates instant trust. If a gemstone endured millions of years beneath the earth, many assume modern air cannot possibly matter. That assumption quietly damages remarkable pieces. Amber is not built like diamond, sapphire, or quartz. It is organic in origin, softer in structure, and visually dependent on surface condition for the warm, translucent glow that made it desirable in the first place. Its beauty comes from honey-like light passing through golden layers, often revealing bubbles, plant fragments, insects, or internal textures trapped long ago. When the surface changes, the experience changes. Humid air may appear harmless, yet prolonged exposure. In damp rooms, unstable climates, poor storage spaces, or environments with repeated temperature swings can gradually encourage haze, residue buildup, dullness, and weaker reflections. The process is often slow enough to ignore at first. That is what makes it expensive. No dramatic crack warns the owner. No sudden break creates urgency. No single day feels different. Instead, a once vibrant specimen may begin looking flatter, softer, and less alive than it did months earlier. The internal warmth fades. Depth becomes quieter. The golden glow that once felt almost luminous starts losing impact. Many owners blame age. Experienced collectors often blame conditions. That difference matters because amber is purchased for emotion as much as rarity. People are drawn to warmth, prehistoric mystery, and the feeling of holding preserved time in their hands. Once humidity steals clarity and brightness, much of that premium appeal can fade even while the stone remains physically intact. The gemstone may still be genuine. The magic may already be reduced. That is why serious collectors pay close attention to storage. Stable humidity, moderate temperatures, careful handling, and protection from heat are not obsessive habits. They preserve the qualities buyers actually paid for. Amber earns the number 10 position because it proves an important lesson immediately. Some translucent gemstones do not need impact, scratches, or abuse to lose beauty. Sometimes the room itself is enough. And if a material old enough to predate civilization can slowly decline in modern humid air, number 9 becomes even more relevant because it is worn every day, trusted by millions, and changing more quietly than most owners ever realize. Ranked 9th. Turquoise. Color is what makes this gemstone dangerous to underestimate. Turquoise wins attention before any conversation begins. A single glance is often enough. Desert sky blue, sea green tones, dark matrix lines running like natural artwork across the surface. It has lived in southwestern jewelry, ancient trade routes, silver settings, collector cabinets, and modern luxury showcases for generations. That beauty feels stable. It often is not. Turquoise is a hydrated phosphate gemstone, and many natural examples possess a porous structure that responds more noticeably to moisture, oils, cosmetics, and environmental conditions than harder gemstones such as sapphire or quartz. Its visual appeal depends on clean color, crisp polish, and balanced surface character. When that balance changes, owners notice something is wrong long before they understand why. Humid air can play a larger role than many buyers expect. In damp rooms, poorly ventilated storage, repeated temperature swings, or conditions where moisture combines with skin contact and daily wear, turquoise may gradually darken, lose brightness, soften in reflection, or appear heavier and older over time. The change is rarely dramatic. That is why it becomes costly. No sudden fracture, no shattered stone, no clear moment when damage begins. Instead, a ring once lively may seem muted. A pendant once vivid may look tired. Fine matrix patterns that once appeared sharp can lose some of their visual precision. Owners often assume simple age is responsible. Sometimes the environment has been helping age along. This is one reason untreated turquoise commands respect among knowledgeable collectors. High-grade natural stones with exceptional color and stable composition are valued not only for rarity, but because preserving that original appearance can be more difficult than casual buyers realize. Some turquoise sold on the market is stabilized specifically to improve durability and reduce sensitivity to outside conditions. That fact surprises many first-time buyers. A gemstone famous for color sometimes needs protection to keep it. There is also a psychological reason turquoise changes feel dramatic. Human eyes are highly sensitive to blue-green shifts. Even modest changes in brightness, saturation, or surface sharpness can make the stone feel entirely different. The gemstone may still be authentic. The visual charm may already be weaker. Turquoise earns the number 9 position because it proves humid air does not need to destroy a gemstone to reduce what people loved about it. Quiet transformation can be more dangerous than obvious damage. By the time many owners notice, the original character is already fading. And if moisture can slowly reshape one of the most recognized gemstones in jewelry, number 8 becomes even less forgiving. Because the next stone looks pure, pale, almost untouchable, yet ordinary room humidity can begin marking it faster than most collectors expect. Ranked 8th. Selenite. Fragility is the reason this gemstone becomes unforgettable. Selenite does not compete through color, rarity myths, or explosive sparkle. It commands attention through presence alone. Long translucent blades, pale luminous surfaces, and a soft internal glow that can make the crystal seem lit from within. Under quiet lighting, it often looks less like stone and more like frozen moonlight. That elegance creates a dangerous misunderstanding. Many people assume something this beautiful must also be durable. Selenite is a transparent to translucent variety of gypsum, a mineral significantly softer and more environmentally vulnerable than gemstones usually associated with jewelry or long-term wear. Its appeal depends on smooth faces, clean edges, and uninterrupted light traveling across refined surfaces. When those surfaces change, beauty can fall quickly. Humid air becomes a serious problem here. In damp rooms, bathrooms, poorly controlled display spaces, basement storage, or climates with repeated moisture fluctuation, selenite may gradually develop dullness, faint surface etching, softer reflections, or a cloudy appearance that weakens the glow collectors prize most. The crystal often remains physically present. That is why owners misread the danger. No dramatic fracture announces itself. No loud crack demands attention. No obvious collapse warns that decline has begun. Instead, a specimen once radiant may start looking flatter, chalkier, and strangely tired. Sharp edges lose precision, light scatters unevenly. The elegant inner brightness that made the crystal memorable begins disappearing. Many blame dust. Sometimes the atmosphere has already done far more than dust ever could. Because selenite starts with such visual purity, even minor surface damage becomes immediately noticeable. Tougher gemstones can hide subtle decline. Selenite reveals it quickly and without mercy. That is why experienced collectors treat fine specimens carefully. Stable humidity, dry display conditions, gentle handling, and low-contact storage are not excessive habits. They preserve qualities that can be difficult to recover once lost. High-grade crystals with exceptional clarity, size, and clean surfaces may be far harder to replace than beginners expect. There is also a common market mistake. Lower-priced decorative pieces create the illusion that all selenite is disposable. In reality, premium specimens with strong form and luminous transparency can carry meaningful collector demand. The crystal may still remain. The reason it was valued may not. Selenite earns the number 8 position because it proves some translucent gemstones do not lose beauty through violence. They lose it through exposure. And if ordinary humidity can quietly erase the glow of a stone famous for looking like moonlight, number 7 becomes even more deceptive. Because the next mineral often appears calm, stable, and harmless, while declining so slowly that many owners never notice until the character is already gone. Ranked 7th. Gypsum. Silence is how this gemstone loses value. Gypsum rarely arrives with the fame of opal or the immediate recognition of turquoise. Yet, in fine translucent form, it can display a calm beauty many louder gemstones never achieve. Soft internal glow, elegant crystal faces, and a clean presence that feels refined rather than flashy. That quiet beauty creates a dangerous advantage for damage. When a gemstone is dramatic, owners notice every change. When a gemstone is subtle, decline can hide inside the subtlety. Gypsum is a calcium sulfate mineral known in several forms, some capable of attractive translucence and delicate optical character. Compared with harder jewelry stones, it is softer, more vulnerable to abrasion, and more responsive to environmental conditions. Its appeal depends heavily on smooth surfaces and orderly light passing through clean material. Humid air can slowly interfere with both. In damp rooms, poorly ventilated shelves, basement storage, garages, or climates with repeated shifts between dry and wet conditions, gypsum may gradually develop dullness, weaker reflections, slight haze, or a loss of crisp visual definition. The specimen often remains structurally intact. That is what makes the process expensive. No obvious break tells the owner to act. No dramatic chip creates urgency. No single day looks alarming. Instead, the crystal simply appears less impressive month after month. A once luminous specimen may seem flatter. Sharp faces lose precision. Internal brightness becomes muted. What once felt elegant can begin feeling ordinary. Many collectors describe this stage the same way. The stone looks tired. That phrase matters because people instinctively recognize when an object has lost life even before they understand the cause. By the time that feeling appears, much of the original character may already be gone. Experienced mineral collectors know gypsum rewards careful treatment. Stable humidity, controlled display spaces, gentle handling, and clean storage are practical necessities, not overreactions. Exceptional, translucent examples with strong form, clarity, and preserved surfaces can be far harder to replace than casual buyers assume. There is also a common beginner mistake. Affordable examples create the illusion that condition does not matter. In reality, collector demand often depends less on species name and more on quality, rarity of form, and preservation. The mineral may still be genuine. The premium condition may not. Gypsum earns the number 7 position because it demonstrates one of collecting's harshest truths. Beauty does not need to shatter in order to disappear. Sometimes it simply fades until memory becomes the only proof of what it once looked like. And if humid air can quietly reduce a gemstone through nothing more dramatic than time and exposure, number 6 becomes even more surprising, because the next stone belongs to a family trusted for strength. Yet many owners never realize beauty and durability are not the same thing. Ranked 6th. Chalcedony. Reputation is what protects this gemstone more than reality. Chalcedony belongs to the quartz family, a name associated with toughness, daily wear, and long-term dependability. For many buyers, quartz means safety. It means a stone that can survive ordinary life without much concern. That reputation is largely deserved. But durability can create its own blind spot. People often assume a gemstone that resists damage will also keep its beauty automatically. Those are not the same promise. Chalcedony is composed of extremely fine, intergrown quartz crystals, giving it a smooth, waxy luster, soft translucence, and a calm inner glow very different from the sharp sparkle of clear quartz. It is admired for elegance, subtle depth, and refined surface character rather than dramatic flashes of brilliance. That kind of beauty depends heavily on presentation. Humid air does not usually attack chalcedony in spectacular fashion. Instead, in poorly controlled environments, damp rooms, neglected storage, long-term exposure to moisture combined with dust, oils, residue, or surface contamination, it may gradually lose luster, develop film-like dullness, and appear less crisp under light. The stone often remains structurally excellent. That is why owners overlook the loss. No fracture forms, no chip appears, no dramatic clouding creates alarm. Instead, a polished piece that once looked smooth and luminous may begin seeming sleepy, heavier, and less refined. Reflections weaken. Depth feels muted. The subtle glow collectors appreciated becomes harder to notice. Many dismiss that change because the gemstone still looks fine. For premium material, fine is a downgrade. Chalcedony is often valued for restraint. Its charm lives in texture, softness, polish, and quiet sophistication. When humidity and neglect reduce those traits even modestly, the emotional reaction to the stone can fall faster than beginners expect. The gemstone may still be durable. The elegance may already be compromised. That distinction matters in collecting and resale. Experienced owners often protect quality chalcedony through stable storage, routine cleaning, careful handling, and avoidance of careless environments. Not because the material is weak, but because premium surfaces preserve premium appeal. This is the trap of trusted stones. Strength convinces people to ignore maintenance. Appearance pays the price. Chalcedony earns the number 6 position because it proves a gemstone can remain physically reliable while becoming visually diminished through quiet environmental exposure. And if even a quartz family stone can slowly lose presence in humid conditions. Number 5 becomes stranger still, because the next gemstone can look like frozen water, glow under light, and lose wonder faster than many viewers would ever imagine. Ranked 5th. Hyalite opal. Disbelief is often the first reaction to this gemstone. Hyalite opal can look less like a mineral and more like water captured in solid form. Clear to translucent domes rise from rock surfaces like frozen droplets. Light moves through them with a cool glow that feels almost unnatural. Under ultraviolet light, some specimens fluoresce vividly, turning an already unusual gemstone into something that seems impossible. That reaction is exactly why collectors pursue it, and exactly why environmental decline matters so much. Many viewers assume a stone that resembles glass must behave like glass. Hyalite does not. It belongs to the opal family, a hydrated silica material whose relationship with water is part of its internal nature. That chemistry gives the gemstone much of its identity, but it also means environmental balance cannot be ignored. Humid air becomes more important than appearance suggests. In unstable rooms, damp storage, repeated moisture swings, or spaces where humidity rises and falls unpredictably, hyalite may gradually lose some of the crisp surface brilliance and sharp visual character that made it captivating in the first place. Reflections can weaken. Surfaces may appear duller. Transparency may feel less striking. The specimen often remains intact. That is what confuses owners. No obvious fracture appears. No dramatic collapse follows. No clear moment announces that beauty has begun slipping away. Instead, the stone simply feels less extraordinary than it once did. A specimen that previously stopped attention may begin blending into the background. The shock value fades first. And with hyalite, shock value is everything. Common gemstones can survive looking average. Hyalite is collected because it does not look ordinary. It feels like nature briefly broke its own rules. Once clarity softens and brilliance drops, much of the emotional reason to own it can disappear rapidly. The mineral may remain rare. The experience of seeing it may not. That is why experienced collectors often store fine hyalite with unusual care. Stable conditions, cleanliness, gentle handling, and protection from careless display environments. Exceptional specimens with strong transparency, elegant form, fluorescence, or unusual growth habit can be significantly harder to replace than casual buyers expect. There is also a market lesson hidden here. Unfamiliar stones are often underestimated until condition separates average examples from exceptional ones. With Hyalite, condition can define that difference quickly. Hyalite opal earns the number 5 position because it proves some translucent gemstones lose value not through breakage, but through the quiet loss of wonder itself. And if humid air can diminish a gemstone that looks like frozen water, number 4 becomes even more exclusive. Because the next stone is unknown to most viewers, respected by specialists, and far easier to undervalue than to replace. Ranked 4th. Moonstone. Glow is what made this gemstone famous. Moonstone does not rely on loud sparkle or aggressive color. Its appeal is quieter and far more hypnotic. A soft light seems to float beneath the surface, drifting as the stone moves. That shimmering effect, known as adulorescence, has made Moonstone desirable for centuries in jewelry, collector circles, and luxury designs alike. It feels calm, it feels elegant, it feels permanent. That last feeling can be misleading. Moonstone is a feldspar gemstone, and while many examples are suitable for jewelry, its beauty depends heavily on surface condition, polish quality, and the clean movement of light across the stone. When those elements decline, the magic people pay for can fade faster than expected. Humid air often works indirectly here. In damp storage, poorly controlled rooms, neglected jewelry boxes, or environments where moisture combines with residue, skin oils, dust, and temperature swings, Moonstone may gradually lose crisp polish, develop dullness, show weaker reflections, or appear less lively under light. The gemstone may remain structurally sound. That is why the loss is missed. No crack appears. No obvious break demands concern. No dramatic failure warns the owner. Instead, a moonstone once glowing with movement may begin looking flatter and quieter. The floating light effect weakens. Surface brilliance softens. What once felt luminous starts feeling ordinary. Many owners blame lighting. Sometimes maintenance and environment deserve more blame. This matters because Moonstone is bought for atmosphere as much as material. People are drawn to elegance, softness, and the sensation that light lives inside the gem. Once humidity, residue, or poor storage reduce that effect, much of the emotional reason to own it can diminish quickly. The stone may still be real. The enchantment may already be weaker. That is why knowledgeable collectors and jewelry owners treat fine moonstone carefully. Stable storage, regular gentle cleaning, dry conditions, and protection from careless wear help preserve the optical effect that separates premium stones from average ones. There is also a market truth here. Moonstone value often rises sharply with stronger glow, cleaner body color, and superior surface condition. Two stones of similar size can feel worlds apart once brilliance and adulorescence are compared. Condition creates that gap. Moonstone earns the number 4 position because it proves humid environments do not need to destroy a gemstone to reduce what made it valuable. Sometimes they only need to dim the light. And if moisture can quietly weaken the glow of one of the most recognized translucent gemstones, number 3 becomes even more personal. Because the next stone carries water inside its own structure and slowly changes when balance is lost. Ranked 3rd. Common opal. Time is what makes this gemstone difficult to judge. Common opal rarely announces change in a dramatic way. It does not always crack loudly, chip suddenly, or fail in one unforgettable moment. Instead, many owners notice something more unsettling. A stone that once looked alive now seems quieter, softer, and strangely less impressive. That feeling often arrives before the explanation. Common opal is a non-crystalline hydrated silica gemstone, meaning water is part of the material itself. Unlike rigid crystals built on highly ordered atomic structures, opal forms differently. That difference helps create the soft glow, gentle translucence, body color, and calm internal depth collectors appreciate. It also means environmental balance matters. Humid air can become part of a slow cycle of change. In unstable storage, damp rooms, repeated swings between wet and dry conditions, or long-term environments lacking consistency, common opal may gradually lose crispness, surface brightness, or some of the visual freshness that made it appealing. The process can be subtle enough to dismiss. That is why it becomes expensive. No single day feels dramatic. No obvious impact explains the decline. No clear warning tells the owner to act. Instead, the stone simply appears less memorable over time. A once glowing specimen may look flatter. Internal softness can become dullness. Light that once moved gently through the gem may feel weaker and less alive. Many people blame memory. Collectors often blame conditions. That distinction matters because common opal is frequently purchased for atmosphere rather than brute rarity. Buyers respond to calm beauty, soft translucence, and the sense that the gemstone carries living light inside it. Once that sensation weakens, much of the emotional value can fade with it. The gemstone may still be authentic. The reason it was loved may already be changing. Experienced owners understand that stability often matters more than intensity. Controlled storage, avoidance of careless environmental swings, and thoughtful handling are not excessive habits. They are ways to preserve the original character that cannot always be restored later. There is also a market lesson hidden here. With common opal, exceptional condition can separate ordinary examples from desirable ones faster than many beginners expect. A stone with stronger presence, better glow, and cleaner surfaces may command attention that average material never receives. Condition creates hierarchy. Common opal earns the number 3 position because it demonstrates one of collecting's most uncomfortable truths. Damage does not always arrive as destruction. Sometimes it arrives as gradual disappearance. And if humid air can slowly reduce the life of a gemstone built around water itself, number 2 becomes even more shocking. Because the next stone can react so visibly that many collectors refuse to trust ordinary room air at all. Ranked second, halite. Exposure is the risk that defines this gemstone. Halite can be stunning in ways few viewers expect. In fine crystal form, it may appear clear to translucent, sharply geometric, and almost impossibly clean. Cubic faces reflect light with precision. Some specimens show delicate color zoning, soft internal glow, or clarity that rivals minerals far more famous in the public imagination. That beauty creates immediate surprise. Its weakness creates immediate caution. Halite is natural rock salt. That single fact explains both its fascination and its vulnerability. What forms remarkable crystal geometry also creates a material with a far more active relationship to moisture than most gemstones collectors are used to handling. For many stones, humidity is a slow concern. For halite, it can be the central threat. In damp rooms, coastal climates, poorly sealed display cases, basement storage, or environments with repeated moisture exposure, halite may begin attracting water from the air. Surfaces can soften. Sharp edges may lose precision. Brilliant faces can turn hazy. Transparency may weaken as the room quietly begins reshaping the specimen. And sometimes it happens faster than expected. That speed is what unsettles collectors. Most gemstone decline is gradual enough to ignore for months. Halite can become visible soon enough to force action. A crystal admired for perfection may start surrendering that perfection simply because the environment changed around it. No impact is required, no mishandling is necessary, no accident needs to occur. The atmosphere alone can be enough. This is why serious specimen owners often store fine halite with unusual discipline. Sealed containers, desiccants, climate awareness, careful placement, and minimal handling. These are not eccentric rituals. They are rational responses to a mineral whose greatest enemy may be ordinary air carrying too much moisture. There is also a collector lesson hidden here. Fine halite with strong clarity, undamaged geometry, attractive color, and preserved surfaces can command surprising respect. But condition matters enormously. Once crisp edges soften or faces degrade, much of the premium appeal can vanish with the perfection buyers wanted most. The crystal may remain genuine. The masterpiece may already be gone. Halite earns the number 2 position because few translucent gemstones demonstrate more dramatically that humid air can act as an active force rather than a passive background condition. And if moisture can visibly alter a gemstone simply for existing in the wrong room, number 1 becomes the most famous warning of all. Because it is more valuable, more desired, and more misunderstood than every stone seen so far. In first place, Ethiopian opal. Absorption is what makes this gemstone reach number 1. Many gemstones reflect light. Ethiopian opal can do something far more unusual. In certain varieties known as hydrophane opal, the stone may absorb water and temporarily change appearance in ways that surprise even experienced buyers. Body tone can shift. Transparency can alter. Fire and brightness may look different until conditions stabilize again. That sounds impossible. It is one of the reasons this gemstone became famous. Ethiopian opal can display intense flashes of red, green, blue, and gold, often with vivid patterns that rival far more expensive stones in visual drama. Under light, it can look alive. Under the wrong conditions, it can also look unexpectedly different. That combination of beauty and unpredictability places it at number 1. Unlike gemstones valued mainly for hardness, Ethiopian hydrophane opal is closely associated with environmental sensitivity. Because some material can absorb moisture, humid air, water contact, unstable storage, or repeated shifts between damp and dry conditions may affect appearance temporarily, or contribute to long-term care challenges depending on the specimen. That complexity is where many owners get confused. They expect gemstones to behave one way every day. This one may not. A stone admired for bright flashes can seem quieter after moisture exposure. Transparency may increase or decrease. Color play can appear muted, delayed, or altered until the material fully dries and stabilizes again. To new buyers, it can feel like magic one day and disappointment the next. The gemstone may still be genuine. The performance may not be consistent. That distinction matters because Ethiopian opal is purchased emotionally as much as materially. Buyers chase fire, motion, pattern, and the feeling that light is trapped inside the stone. When humidity or moisture changes that experience, the loss feels larger than a simple cosmetic shift. Collectors who understand the material often treat storage seriously. Stable environments, careful handling, avoidance of careless moisture exposure, and patience during recovery after contact with water are part of responsible ownership. Knowledge is not optional here. It protects expectations. There is also a market lesson hidden inside this stone. 2 Ethiopian opals of similar size may perform very differently depending on brightness, pattern, stability, and condition. Spectacle drives desire, but consistency drives confidence. That is why this gemstone finishes the countdown at number 1. No translucent gemstone better represents how humidity and moisture can directly influence what viewers see with their own eyes. The stone can remain valuable. The appearance can still change. And that creates one of collecting's most powerful truths. Some gemstones are not only owned, they must be understood. Some gemstones do not lose beauty through accidents, they lose it quietly, through humidity, time, and conditions most owners never notice. From amber to precious opal, this list proved one thing. Rarity does not guarantee stability. Which stone surprised you most? Subscribe for more hidden gemstone science, rare minerals, and collector truths.